Welcome to AMS Radio. I'm here today with Rick Bacon, CEO of Aqua Metrology Systems. Today he's going to be talking to us about managing trihalomethanes using formation potential data. Now, Rick, I understand that AMS has built quite a position, a leadership position in the United States and Europe for online analyzers of trihalomethanes. Before getting into the technology aspects of it, can you tell us a little bit why it's so important to use the monitor for trihalomethanes?
Sure. So trihalomethanes, and I'm going to refer to them as THMs to make it easier for everyone, just one class of what are called disinfection byproducts. And as that name suggests, these are chemicals. They're actually carcinogenic, and there's more than 1,000 of them that are produced when chlorine reacts with organic material in the source water for drinking water. So that's water that's coming out of a lake, out of a river. It will have high levels of organic content. The chlorine reacts with that and produces what looks like a bit like a lettuce soup. Those are in fact very complex chemicals, and they break down over time to form these carcinogens, one of which are THMs. And because they are, many of them, very difficult to measure, the regulators in Europe and the US and elsewhere have taken THMs as a marker for the rest of that family of carcinogens. And so, because it's a regulated compound, it's injurious to health, it's very important that they're monitored. And so, to ensure that the water treatment companies are compliant and are delivering safe drinking water to their clients.
Well, so what are the specific challenges that you're facing?
So these chemicals are really very, very complex, and they tend to, so they're formed, or their precursors are formed, and then over time, as the water passes through the distribution network, they break down into these chemicals that are injurious. And the problem is, if you measure how many of these THMs have been formed through the disinfection process at the water treatment plant, you're going to get one number. Let's call it a static THM number. As the water passes through the distribution network, the effect of time and temperature will result in those compounds continuing to break down, the precursors, and forming even more THMs closer to the consumer's tap. So if you're a water treatment plant operator, you've got a problem, because traditional technology has generally been placed at the water treatment plant and gives them this static number. But it's of absolutely no, it's not a relevant indicator of what will be at the consumer's tap 3 days late, 200 miles away. And if you wait to measure what that number actually is, to know whether the water's safe, you can have well possibly filled a whole distribution network of unsafe water. So that's the that's the core challenge. This dynamic contaminant is very difficult to trace usefully. And so what we've done is we can take a sample of water at the water treatment plant, and we can predict with a very high level of accuracy using our technology what that number will be 3 days later, 200 miles away.
Okay.
And that then puts the water treatment company in control of their treatment system, because they can then dial it up, dial it down to ensure that their process for controlling THMs are ensuring that when the water reaches the client, it's safe to drink.
Well, it seems obvious then that it's absolutely essential to understand the formation potential.
Right.
That data is really critical.
Absolutely.
So what are the business benefits of that?
So the business benefits are that if I know, I'm a water treatment plant operator for a second, if I know what the quality of my water that I'm producing today will be 3 days later, I can adjust my the treatment process I use to eliminate or avoid creating THMs. Those treatment processes for avoiding that creation are very expensive. It involves a lot of chemicals, it can involve energy, it can involve filter media. All of these things have a high cost. If you can adjust, and the risk is that if you don't know, I don't know what that water quality will be, I'm going to overtreat. just to be on the safe side.
Right.
So I will use too much chemicals, I will use too much energy, I will use too much filter media, all of the things, the chemical processes designed to reduce this risk of THM presence at the consumer's tap. So there's a huge cost disadvantage to overtreating.
Sure.
And the other risk is, so that's, save money.
Yeah.
And most of the people who invest in this THM formation potential technology pay for the investment in months, literally months. The other thing, of course, is that if I'm a water treatment plant operator, there's a real risk that when the water gets to the consumer, it's not going to be safe to drink. And then I'm going to fall foul of the regulator who comes around, measures the water at the consumer's tap. It's non-compliant, and there's fines and reputational risk. So those are the two big drivers of why many utilities are investing in this predictive technology.
So it has benefits, as you're saying, business as well as environmental.
Yeah, so it's environmental because unnecessary use of power and chemicals is obviously not a good thing. There's a carbon footprint attached to that. But it also, the other piece of this is that the more that utilities can use surface water, whether it's rivers or lakes, it reduces their dependence on groundwater, which is generally pristine. And the obvious default position for a utility, if it doesn't know the quality of the water it's producing, is to use more of that, if you like, rare, more expensive groundwater from aquifers that are being depleted, and minimise their use of surface water. And we've inverted that. Now our utilities across the country can maximise their use of surface water because their treatment system is now fully calibrated and able to absorb larger volumes of surface water, minimise the use of groundwater.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's 360 degrees of benefits all the way around.
Absolutely, and it's particularly in terms of sustainability and the fact that water sources are of a declining quality makes this an essential tool for any water treatment company that's involved in chlorinating, which is disinfecting their water.
Wow, fantastically illuminating. Thank you so much for sharing today.
Very well, thanks.